what are the actual signs that somebody was raised by somebody who was a narcissist? Like, how does that play out?
And I think you're right. It is a common word used for lots of different things. If you don't like someone, you can call them a narcissist. I mean, it's used in very loose ways. Let me first talk about how would we know and if someone's a narcissist. And then second of all, I want to talk about how I use the term and why I use the term and what I'm hoping to do with the folks who come. Because, and maybe start with the second question first. If they want to start by coming and everything is narcissistic, that's fine. Because I'm going to take you to where I want you to focus on you. But it's okay if you go, oh, my parents were narcissists. You can call everybody narcissist if you want, but I want to take you to a different place. So you can call them all a banana if you want, but I want you to eventually come to learn you and to self-differentiate as a healthy adult. And so that's kind of the second point. And the first point is, you're right. There are different types of narcissists. And in fact, there's some books out there that really describe some of those well. It's not just a one bucket thing. You have which many know, malignant narcissists. Those are the not good at all folks, and probably are narcissistic with psychopathic or sociopathic traits. Those are the dangerous, not good folks, because they have no conscience, and they're not aware of their own impact on other people, or if they are, it's only transactional. It's not emotional. And then you have on the other end of the continuum people who have narcissistic traits. And again, we even go through a developmental phase in which narcissism is healthy. We have healthy narcissism in our development. We just don't want to not have empathy and not have, we want to continue to develop as adult and care about ourselves, care about others, and have some altruism in our lives. And most people do that. That's the development of what most people do. And so there is, but it is used a lot for a lot of different things these days. And I've just become less worried about it because of what I want to do and what I'm trying to bring. So I'm going, okay, call everybody in your whole realm narcissist. Now, what about you? What are you going to do to heal you? What are you going to do? And there are some people that are very much benefited, and I talk to them often, where they've been married to somebody for 30 years, 35 years, and go, I never even thought that he could be a narcissist or she could be a narcissist. I never even thought that was a possibility. This opens up a whole new way of thinking for me, and they fit all the criteria, of no guilt, no empathy, very self-focused, often grandiose, and will be controlling and manipulative, and all the traits that go along, which people can look that up, Google that, and find that everywhere. And as they learn that, they go, oh, well, that's a whole different template that I then put on my marriage and my relationship that now helps me to be more empowered about what do I need to do for me? What do I need to do in this relationship? And again, they're starting to get more realism in their relationship. The one thing I do try to do is try to help people if they can, because sometimes diagnoses can overlap. Bipolar can look like narcissism. Alcoholism can look like narcissism. So mood disorders, and it is good if you kind of, want to talk to someone who's a good professional in that realm to make more of a differential diagnosis. Because I know of some people, they've come and said, oh, my husband, was a narcissist. He goes and gets evaluated and he really is bipolar. because they can look very much like that, but it's from a different source. It's biochemical or brain oriented, and that's different than personality disorder. So, but now I'm in the weeds. Sorry, Doug. I sometimes go there.
Well, it's all good. So, like, what do you think? Like, what do you think are the biggest like signs of somebody's like 30 or 40 years old? Like, how are they behaving if they were raised by a narcissist, or what do their relationships look like?
Oh, I think if they're raised by a narcissist, they're probably going to have a lot of self image, self worth problems. Now, maybe they have been the golden child, which then you can have a little different dynamic with that. But oftentimes it's more you're very, very strongly self critical, low self esteem, feeling unworthy, can't acknowledge your successes, or you're never good enough. A feeling you may have feelings of needing to be perfect because you've always had to be perfect with a narcissistic parent. You have been controlled and manipulated often in a narcissistic home, and you were just never allowed to breathe as to who you really are. That was never, there's no room for that. There's no space for that in a narcissistic home. And so when they become an adult, you feel you're being suffocated in life. Or I might use the analogy, you feel you're drowning in the lake, but you're only standing in a bucket of water. And that's the adult child of a narcissist kind of experience. Or we feel there's a lion in the room and we have this great amount of anxiety, but there's no lion there. Well, there was years ago, a parent who was the lion, and we always had to, be on the lookout for that and what was coming next.
You talked about the golden child. That's really interesting. You bring that up because a lot of times when people think about being raised like by a narcissistic parent, they think about, oh, they didn't meet my needs, they were like emotionally abusive or whatever. Like, talk about why like getting too much praise and being put on this pedestal can actually be a sign of being raised by a narcissistic parent as well.
Sure. Well, because the narcissistic parent lives out their life through the kids. That's not uncommon for many parents, but it's a unique situation when it's a narcissist. I talk with folks who have a family of, say, 3 siblings and them. 3 of the siblings of the 4 are treated badly and not and very much manipulated, put down. Then we have the one who may be a golden child in the family. They can do no wrong. They are loved by the narcissist because the narcissist gets some supply from them emotionally. They're going to go do great things. Oh, they're my honor student. They're my favorite athlete. My dad was a coach and a principal. He would be, say, basketball, and Jim liked to play basketball, my brother. Well, that's something dad liked. So that's a very positive thing, and he likes that. Whereas the sports I was in, what are those? Those aren't real sports. Swimming, tennis, that's not real. And so the golden child is the person who gets the favors and none of the criticism, or very little, but they then have to live in this golden child cocoon or cage in which they always must be pleasing and approving to their narcissistic parent and be successful. Well, I know one person. I remember his father was a neurologist, and then he became a very, very prominent neurologist. He didn't never wanted to go into medicine because you're going to be the standard for this family and the success of being a neurologist like your grandfather and like me and then like you. You're going to do great research and da 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 da. And then he can't do guitar or music like he wants. He can't, he's got to spend all of his time being successful. It's hard to have relationships when you got to achieve all that. So it can be a problem. I do think Golden Child, while has its benefits, there are the downsides of being a golden child. Many people will criticize me and say, "Oh, but I'd rather be a golden child." Well, I understand than being abused, and yeah, I'd probably rather be a golden child. But I'd rather be me and no role is what I'd rather be. I don't want to be a role of a black sheep, a scapegoat, or a golden child. I would like to be Jerry. That's what I'd like to be. That's who I'd like to be.